This walkthrough will describe how to mount and unmount common flexible form factor CF3 compatible modules, such as the HL, WP, and RC series modules into the snap-in socket. This process is primarily available on various Sierra Wireless dev kits and customer boards when you want to implement the flexibility of an exchangeable module. The CF3 layout provides compatibility between CF3 modules. The CF3 pin layout can have up to 4 pin rings. For CF3 cellular modules such as HL, WP, and RC series, rings C and D are used the most. More complex or smart modules like the WP series require more pins. The main pins from the inner ring are represented in the outer ring. This provides easy routing in the PCB layout. CF3 compatibility allows the change from one module to the next on the same PCB layout. If you have questions regarding compatibility of CF3 modules, please reach out to your local field application engineer or technical account manager. The CF3 standard allows either the snap-in socket, which can hold a CF3 module on the PCB, or a CF3 module to mount directly. This means the pin layout of CF3 modules and the layout of the sockets are identical. The snap-in socket is typically found on Sierra Wireless development kits. The socket makes it possible to easily change modules. However, a snap-in socket can be a good part of a customer's PCB. It allows customer PCBs with different modules from different regions, technologies, or throughput categories to equip without soldering. It can be used for prototype series on customer PCBs for better debugging and other research and development tasks. Pad compatibility of socket and modules allow the socket to be left until later in production. Let's now see how a module is mounted on a CF3 snap-in socket. Please check carefully where the first pin of the module should be placed. The socket itself has a mark to show the corner of the socket for module pin 1 placement. Additionally, on Sierra Wireless dev kits, a white arrow printed on the PCB shows the position of pin 1. Such a mark is recommended on customer PCBs. Now place the module in the socket. Ensure that the pin 1 mark on the module is in the same corner as it is marked on the socket and PCB. Set the lid correctly on the socket. It has a mark which shows the direction in which it has to be placed. Gently press on the lid to lock it. Smaller modules like the HL78 series have the same pin layout but have a smaller overall size. To place them in a snap-in socket, a plastic ring called an interposer is required, which fills the space between module and socket. The interposer is part of the HL78 Revision 4 dev kit. If not available, it can be printed from a 3D print file. Place the interposer in the socket. Even though the interposer is symmetric, you should still pay attention to the orientation mark. The interposer should be placed in the socket in such a way that it matches the orientation marks for pin 1 in the socket and on the PCB. Now you can mount the module. As with the previously shown module, it has a mark for pin 1 and needs to be placed in the correct orientation. Now set the lid on the socket while maintaining the orientation. When placing the lid, check that the lateral catches have engaged securely. Verify that all 12 lateral catches are latched around the socket. Ensure that the 4 springs on top of the lid are not bent, so they will bring enough force to press and hold the module to the socket contacts. If the lid is not securely latching at the lateral catches, there's a possibility that the side wings of the lid are bent. To solve this issue, press the wings of the lid gently sideways against a flat object to bend the wings a bit toward the inner area. When done gently, it improves the force with which the lid holds on the lateral catches. Some older modules are 4.4 millimeters. The newer modules are 2.5 millimeters thick. Use the thick lid for 4.4 millimeter modules and the thin lid for the 2.5 millimeter modules. Now you will see how a module is removed from a socket. The snap-in socket comes with a small tool, which helps in opening the lid. While the shape of the delivered tool might differ from time to time, the basic process and geometry to open the lid are the same for all the tools. Do not use other tools to open the lid, as it might damage the socket or module. To unmount the module, place the tool into one of the 8 pairs of holes on top of the lid. Move or bend the top of the tool gently in the direction of the center of the socket. This must be strong enough to release the lateral catches, but should be done gently enough not to damage the lid. Place the tool in the remaining pairs of holes and repeat the movement to release the lateral catches. It can be useful to start in one corner of the lid to release that corner first. Repeat this procedure until all catches are released. Once enough catches are unlatched, the lid will come off without additional force. When this happens, there's no need to pull the lever or bend with additional tools or your hand. This is the end of the walkthrough, and now you know how to mount and unmount CF3 compatible modules, such as the HL, WP, and RC series into the snap-in socket.